Hi guys, surprise! Today I have joined the set. Welcome back to another amazing episode of Truthcast. Hey, thank you so much people for welcoming me back well. Nimefika tu hapo kwa mlango.
Mimi nilikuwa nimeenda England.
Si niliona venye alikuwa anatu put down huko.
No, unajua the truth is a very bitter thing to swallow. So just the way I said last time, just yeah.
Lakini me, I'm not suffering. Me, I have tried my best, and my best has worked for me.
Okay.
That's why I also traveled.
Yeah.
Yes, I went but I will not share here because where I work, things are very classified. But I earn a lot of money.
My God, okay.
Yes. Si mnaona hata utofauti venye nimerudi. Yeah, so me, Spayo told you people to try hard and give it your best. Me, I'm here to tell you, try harder. And give it your best and bestest. Mwache jokes, by the way. Mnangoja nani akuja wa mshe
huko. But you know what, we're telling guys to do their best. Don't do things that are going to even put you back and take you 100 steps backwards.
Like what?
Like you see the way people, some people become too hard on themselves. You know, they don't show themselves grace.
Okay.
They become overly critical. You
Adi
understand?
unakosa kukula.
You start comparing yourself to people.
Yeah, able tell them.
You start comparing yourself to people that you're not even supposed to be comparing. Like you guys are on totally different paths.
Yeah.
If you watched our previous video for failures, the lessons that we learned from our trenches, you'll see that kila mtu akona their own race.
Yeah.
In as much as Steve and I are in business, but doing totally different businesses, and in as much as the principles you're applying are the same, you're applying them differently. So you can't be comparing yourself to other people because you want to try harder. Please, as you try harder, know your limits. It's very important to know your limits. You'll be able to prioritize things well and schedule your priorities the way we said a few weeks back. And then you'll run your own race.
Are you also saying people should not be over ambitious? Maybe?
You know, ambition is a good thing and it's a bad thing. Because good ambition is fueled by good motives. Bad ambition is fueled by bad motives. For example, if you remember, no, let me not use that example. Let me say, for example, you've just finished campus, you've graduated, and immediately after graduation, a friend of yours gets a job. And then there's that feeling of, and then now you guys meet, and maybe through, during conversation, they're telling you of their achievements, and probably they're doing it very innocently.
Yeah, they're not trying to put you down.
Yeah. But because of your perception and because of what you've tied to you not getting a job as fast as they have, you start having the bad kind of ambition that leads to jealousy and envy.
Oh, nataka nifike mahali pia amefika. Na nitamshinda.
You start comparing yourself, you start saying, I'll do this and I'll do this and I'll do better. Or these parents who are usually bragging about their kids too. I don't know if you've seen parents who are like, hey, me, my son, I took him to Strathmore University, and after that I want him to go and pursue a master's in Harvard. And then another mother who's clearly struggling is like, hey, me, mine goes to Kabarak, and after Kabarak he has gotten a scholarship at Yale. You know, in as much as they are proud of their sons, or they want to be proud of their sons, there's some sort of comparison that's going on here. That's number one. And number two,
it's not competition.
Yeah, it's not competition. It's a bad ambition. See ati anataka mtoto wake aende Yale because ana feel it's best for this child. Anataka aende Yale kwa sababu huyu ameenda Harvard. That's bad ambition. And Apostle Selman anasemanga, you can pray to God, but God checks your motives. The reason as to why you want that thing that you want. So God, you know the Bible says that hearts of kings are in the hands of God. Yes. Yeah. So it also says that God sees the state of our hearts. You know, the way David was saying, search my heart and remove any iniquity. God sees the state of our hearts, and he looks at it when he's answering our prayers. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. And imagine, guys, hata hatujaanza episode. Hey,
God
today.
looks at the state of your heart. Before he answers your prayers, he will look at the state of your heart. And, well, God is good, so sometimes he'll forgo your bad motives and he'll give you what you want, but sometimes he'll decide to be God. Or most times, even in my life, he has decided to be God. Even me, I had bad ambitions.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit
And in the
pretty.
moment, probably at ujui their bad ambitions.
Yeah.
You get to know as you're
going.
Yeah.
For example, me, I used to say, hey, me, I can't study in Kenya. What is Kenya? God, I Yeah, I used to say, me, I can't study in Kenya. And I genuinely didn't want to study in Kenya. But my motives were bad.
Okay.
It's not that I didn't want to study in Kenya because I didn't feel like the course that I wanted to do is not provided well in Kenya. It's just I had some bad sense of pride. Yeah.
Okay.
And it made me want things for myself that were good, but would not have made me the person I am today.
Okay.
Maybe if that prayer would have been answered. And this in hindsight, as I look back and I'm like, if maybe that prayer would have been answered and I'd have gone and studied abroad, maybe I would have been one of the most boastful, prideful people on earth.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I would be wearing it up my sleeve, and maybe that's the only thing I would be saying. Probably that would have been me. But having gone through even the school that I went to, Daystar, I loved my experience there. I loved the curriculums. I mean, of course, every school has its own things that you don't like about it. But I can't say that I struggled with the school. I was okay with the curriculum. I was okay with the structures. Small issues here, just like any other institution has. But I enjoyed my time in Daystar. I loved my lecturers.
Yeah.
Especially the ones that were teaching me psychology, I loved. Wengine were general courses. Wengine walikuwa nanibo, wengine walikuwa sawa. But I enjoyed my time in Daystar. And so, the hand of God is upon our lives.
Yeah.
So even in our bad motives, God says, this is bad. This is what I'll do, and it's going to work out for her.
Wow. Before we just get into the real episode, someone asked me a question. Nilikuwa nafanya truth or dare, and then someone, it was a would you rather game.
Okay.
And then someone asked, would you rather die at 20 with no regrets, or die at 50 with so many regrets? And I chose dying at 50 with so many regrets. And this was my reason. Those things are the ones, as in, hizo ndo vitu zitanifanya, by the time I'm getting to 50, I am the wise master of that village. You get? So I'd rather carry those with me because they are lessons. Alafu pia tukaulizwa swali ya, would you rather forget who you were, uamke kama umesahau who you were, or kama umesahau watu wengine? And I chose I'd rather forget other people, but remember who I was. Because every step of my life, even the bad ones, venye tu umesema, have made me who I am today, and I wouldn't want to forget that.
Wow. And then you see, on that question of regrets, it's how you perceive it. If you want to look at them as regrets and you're carrying them as regrets, fine. If you look at them as lessons, then you're the wise master of the village.
Yes, I am the master chief of the village. I know.
Anyway, can we dive into our topic?
Let us dive into our topic. Unaona mali nimetoka na vitu mzuri. So please try harder.
Anyway.
So today we want to tackle I think it's a very complex subject. We want to tackle superiority complex and inferiority complex. Nikisema hizo majina kidogo ni umeulimi, but I have managed. So we want to check into that, and sizielewi sana, but my friend here seems like anaelewa hizo vitu kiasi, so I'll ask questions.
I'm the master shifu.
She's the master shifu for this episode. So, and then we see how it goes. But at least I know inferiority complex ni unajiangalia, you look down upon, unajiangalia chini.
Down on yourself, unajiangalia chini. Kwani uko ulienda Tanzania mko unaongea English? I kid.
Oh God, you look down upon yourself, and then superiority is you think too highly of yourself.
Absolutely. You're actually very right. That's the major difference between the two. Superiority complex is you wear your achievements on your sleeve, and that becomes who you are. You are what you have done. You understand? So for example, someone who has that superiority complex will come And the first thing they are telling you, have you ever been in conversation with people and they're just telling you what they've done?
I know, and you're wondering,
And you're like, oh God, this
who
is so
asked
sickening.
you?
Yeah, because they're like, you know.
And they're not saying it in a way they're trying to drive to a point to help you or
Yeah,
something. They're just informing you.
They're just informing you.
Yes.
They're giving you information that you didn't ask for or that is not even relevant to the conversation that you're having. Yeah. So for example, you'll be speaking to someone about something and then they'll say out of the blues, you know me, when I was finishing my KCSE, I was the top in Kenya. You're like, okay, wow, you're number one. That's really good. And that's it. And so, and if you look at that person's life, you would not even believe that they were number one in Kenya. That's the most heartbreaking part of superiority complex.
Okay.
Some people, in as much as they are wearing their achievements in their sleeves,
their life doesn't show it.
Their life doesn't show it. For some people, it does show, and it makes the superiority complex
even
worse.
more.
You understand?
Yeah.
But some people, they're just stuck in there. I remember there's a time our pastor in church was preaching, and he was talking about the prison of success, the prison of past successes. He was saying some people get so stuck in their achievements that is the only thing they remember.
Wow.
So you're stuck at the way you were number one at KCSE, or you're stuck at the way you won that marathon and you defeated everyone, or you're stuck at the fact that you were able to amass a huge amount of wealth at a very young. You're just stuck there, and it's making you not move because you're like, guy, imagine nilikuwa number one Kenya.
You're just living in that moment.
You've not moved on. That's why it's a prison.
So how do you move on? Because I'm assuming probably this person was just so proud of themselves. Probably hata aliambiwa maybe haizi fanya kitu kama hiyo, and then finally amefanya. So
and I was even
getting
getting there. Sometimes for people with superiority complex, you'll find that they came from overly critical homes. Okay. Where they had to
prove something.
Yeah, they had to prove that they are better. Or that they are worthy of praise. Maybe hawako wanakomplimentiwa sana, maybe walikuwa wanakomplimentiwa only when they have done something that is worthy of praise. Maybe walikuwa wakipita exams wanaambiwa, now you are a good boy. Or now you're a good girl. And then if you fail, we ni mjinga sana. So you're criticized very harshly. So you have to prove yourself kila saa. So that is what you know to do is to prove people wrong. It brings about some sort of superiority complex because you're like, now you're better. Now you're better than nani. So you remember when we were young, people used to be told, kuwa kama Adelaide. No, Adelaide ni mtoto mzuri. And then you strive to become like Adelaide. Yes? And then after you're better than Adelaide, Adelaide doesn't even know you're striving to be better than her.
Yeah. So after you're better than her, you hold on to that.
You hold on to that. You hold on to that. You unabaki tu hapo. So there's some people who are stuck in this prison of successes. And that's the same way Napoli with inferiority complex are stuck in the prison of regrets.
Okay.
Maybe they're like, I want to use an example. This lady, first of all, I used to feel like she didn't like herself. And I'm not sure why she didn't like herself. We didn't get to know each other to the point of us knowing her childhood. But this lady used to be very critical of herself. Like, and Maggie at that time was what? A teenager or even younger. And this lady is in her 40s. And Maggie just does a small mistake. Ndo hiyo, mi Maggie, mi ananionyeshanga madharau sana, wacha hata niende, you know. And Maggie is a very, very small. So if you look at the perception that she has about Maggie, it's making her have a different perception about herself. So you're asking yourself, is it that she regrets coming to work for you or what? Do you understand what I'm saying? So you'll find that people with inferiority complex, they have extreme low self-esteem. Extreme low self-esteem. For another example I'll use, and I'm not saying this in a bad way. You've gone to gate men who have treated you very harshly. And then they'll say, hii ni kazi yangu, pia mimi niko na kazi.
You're thinking, because your statement ya pia mimi niko na kazi. That says a lot.
You're like,
and ni kama already ushamdharau.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not coming for your job, sir. I can't do the work of being a gateman or a watchman as good as you're doing it. I just need some certain kind of help, or in as much as we're in a conflict, let's try and solve and find a middle ground. But what inferiority complex, they'll make you go so that they feel like...
That explains why short people are hot-tempered.
I don't understand how short people got into this conversation. But yes,
or let me say dwarfs, mostly the
little people.
Yes, the little people. Nice. Okay, I'm sorry, little people. I'm sorry. The little people, yes.
You'll find that, those people, when they get angry, they are super angry.
See what? Most of them, stammerers, they have anger. Most of them have anger issues.
And if you find a stammerer who has embraced the fact that they are a stammerer,
they are nice.
They are super nice.
Yes.
And even before they speak to you, they'll tell you, I normally stammer. Please be a little bit
more patient with me. Yeah.
But the one that is not proud of the fact that they have that condition, oh God, they'll give you the hardest time. They'll give you the hardest time. They will give you and if you're asking yourself, is it better to have superiority complex or inferiority complex? It's better to have neither.
None. Yeah.
Because number one, mtu superiority complex, reasoning with them is so hard because they already feel so high and mighty.
Yeah, they already know you don't know.
Yeah, they already feel like they are the it. So you're going to tell them what?
God.
So their thoughts about themselves are up here. And then my inferiority complex, their thoughts about themselves are down here. So you're trying, Aki imagine uko sawa, Aki unaweza, Aki.
I know, vitu kama hizo unichosha, like just having to, it's almost like having to beg someone to do something.
Yeah.
And you looking at them, you know they are good at that.
Yes.
And they are refusing.
Yes. And let me tell you, it's even worse if you're in a relationship with either of the two.
Sasa relationship ya inferiority. Okay, superiority complex, I can say that. Inferiority complex is inakaji.
Inferiority complex is, number one, you'll hear comments like someone saying, you know, Aki, I don't deserve you. So even if you feel like or they'll see you talking with someone else and immediately feel insecure because you're talking to that other person because that other person is better than them.
But during the early stages, you'll think that is love. Kwanza mtu akwambia, you know, I don't deserve
until
you.
Now they become until now they become
too much.
I don't want to use the word narcissistic because
toxic.
It just becomes toxic. Let me say toxic. It becomes toxic because now they'll say, me, I don't appreciate it when I see you talking with who, or I don't appreciate it that you normally go to your, for example, if you're a creative, I don't appreciate it that you normally go and you hang out with a lot of people, or they'll want to go everywhere with you.
That's inferiority complex. God.
So unafikiria hapo, he just likes spending time with me, or she just likes spending time with me, but she's there because she wants to control and to be able to have a view of who you are when you're with other people so that they can make that comparison. It's hard.
So now how does superiority complex look now in a relationship?
Superiority complex now is the complete opposite. They feel like they're better than you. So they feel like they're doing you a favor by being in a relationship with you.
Oh God.
And that's why if you go on TikTok, so you've seen this, and I know Gen Zs are, we were saying with your cow in the previous, we were saying that Gen Zs are super afraid of marriages. Like Gen Zs will face Ruto, Biden, whoever needs to be faced. But when it comes to marriage, they cower. And we were saying that sometimes you just have to face the things that you have to face. You can't dodge. You can't.
As Spencer is speaking, I hope you're rating yourself or rating the people around you or your partners. Where are you falling? Now, you have superiority complex, you have inferiority complex, you're now aware, and you now want to change. Yeah. How do you go about the change?
First of all, you need to, I think we should have started with is both of these two are pegged on self. you have a skewed image about yourself.
How you see yourself.
How you see yourself.
Okay.
So for the superiority, of course, you see yourself better than other people. So your self-image is way, 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 way above what it should be. You know, there's a self-image. You remember when you're talking about self-image and ideal image and the true self?
We will link that video
Yeah.
hapo Junior Kitambo.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think they're last year, yes? Okay. So your self-image is up in the sky. Your ideal image is probably high up in the sky because you probably want to be better, yes? Yes. And then now there's your true self. So for both of them, for the superiority, it's high, high, high. For the inferiority, it's low, low, low. And now since these two are pegged on self, I normally advise people to come out of yourself for a second and have for lack of a better word, have an out-of-body experience. Try and see Adelaide from Maggie's perspective or from Jonah's perspective.
So how do you do that? Do I come and ask Adelaide, so what do you think of me?
You can do it in form of conversation, or you can just do it in form of how they respond to you.
Okay.
Be more cognizant of their response. Because people are responding to us. Like, ushaingia kwa matatu, and the moment you sat, the other person has acknowledged that you've sat, and then they've sort of adjusted how they were sitting. And then some people, you get into a mat, they don't adjust how they are sitting. They just continue as if
you're not even there.
Yeah, and then at that time they've sat as if they're in a sofa set in their own house. Yeah. So try and check the response that people have towards you. Yeah, and then
wow.
Try it because it helps. If you ask me, I think it's better to have conversation, or you could also try therapy. Therapy will help you very much because now you'll be having a professional set of eyes telling you the problem that you have, and they'll be able to professionally give you help. Because these things, if you struggle with them since you are a child and then you grow up and you're in your 30s, 40s, 20s even, it's not going to change within a snap of a finger. So it has to take intentional efforts. It has to take even communal efforts from your friends and now professional help from your therapist. But I think it's better to seek help from a professional. It's better to inform your friends that, by the way, I've noticed this about me, about myself. What do you think? And then if you have good friends, then they'll tell you
the truth.
Yeah. Or they'll tell you, oh, that's not how I see it. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's the best way to start. And I've remembered there's a certain series I was watching. It's called Chicago Med. Naitwa Chicago Med. Napendanga hizi mafuta za madaktari.
Medicine.
So there was another doki there. I've forgotten his name, but he was super duper smart. He was a neurosurgeon. So he'd come and then he'd ask what's the case about, and then you'll say, because now, for example, if you're supposed to be done for a brain surgery, maybe there are very many other issues. Maybe the brain is what is affecting your heart, or is what is affecting, like, the brain is a very complicated and interesting organ.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the brain is a very interesting organ because it controls everything, including blinking, memory, everything. Yeah. So he was a neurosurgeon. So I think in this case, a certain child had been brought who had a neurological disorder that was affecting him, his mind. It was affecting how his mobility. So watu walikuwa nafikiria, maybe it's psychiatric, but it's not psychiatric, it's neurological. Unanielewa? So this guy is called. And then he's told, so this is the case. She's unable to do this and this because of, we've noticed that she has a tumor. So they're telling him that this baby has been going through therapy and psychiatric care. Then he's like, yeah, you guys have been taking this child through psychiatric care because all of you are dumb. And he's speaking to doctors, of course, doctors of different fields. He's like, you guys are very dumb. Like, this is something that I can fix in 5 minutes. Yeah.
But let me ask you, is it that confidence? So I was to even ask later, where now do you draw the line? Again, you're told be humble, be considerate of others.
Now you see, the reason I have brought up that
Yeah.
is because this man did not see any problem with what he was doing. In his head, he's as confident as you're thinking, but he's hurting everyone in his surroundings.
So how would he have done it
You should
better?
have said, oh, then the doctors who diagnosed this child must have made a very grave mistake because time was wasted and this child's life would have been put in a lot of complications. Yet this is something that can be sorted in 5 minutes. You don't have to call doctors dumb. You don't have to peg names to people. You know, a case has been brought, and he was the best in that hospital. And I liked how he did his work, because he and even when patients died in his table, he didn't feel a thing.
Okay, now that's a
You
problem.
understand? I like call like time of death 12:43 p.m.
So it was the patient's mistake.
Hey, come to hizo glass. That is someone who needs therapy. And if you even dig deeper, maybe even him has a neurological disorder because the brain is also responsible for our emotions. You understand?
What if anakaa tu ngumu because of the nature of his job? He's like in a BD.
Neurosurgeon. You know, and then you see I'm not very affluent with that side of medicine, but if you're a neurosurgeon, you've practiced for many years. So kila mtu anakupea heshima una deserve. Get maybe huku wakianza first year, second year of being a resident doctor, maybe wamekuwa struggle and you have to pitch your cases ndio daktari aone that ina make sense so that they go with your surgery. But now you're a neurosurgeon, like you're at the topest. You don't need to come and call other doctors dumb, because among the people that he was calling dumb was the head of psychiatric care in that hospital. So the head of that psychiatric care is the one who said, you know what, let's hear his take, because I think this is very much neurological. You understand? So sometimes people with superiority or even inferiority complex, they don't realize that they have a problem. That's why it's good for you to relate more with people. Stop yourself, put yourself aside for a second. Let the I die. Let's angalia hao watu wengine wana relate aje na wewe. Ukiingianga kwa room, what's the feel? Because now, later on in this same series, this doctor realized that every time he would get into a room, there'd be silence. And so he started asking, before I got into this room, you guys were storying, how come you guys are quiet? And no one would answer. So someone would give him a sarcastic answer like, we're just, the stories died out immediately you got into the room. And do you know this doctor had to go and seek help and realize that he had actually a neurological disorder that could not be fixed by surgery. And when he realized that he had a problem, he would even say, I hope I'm not going to sound mean, or I don't know how this will sound, but So now now his colleagues now started accommodating him more. Watu wakaanza kuelewa, okay, maybe ako hivi juu ya condition yake, na condition yake haiwezi saidika. So watu wakamuelewa. But now, for superiority and inferiority complex, we are going to face people like those, especially us young people. You go to new workplaces and you realize that, oh my God, my immediate boss is a pain in the flesh.
Nice choice of words.
Yeah, a pain in the flesh. And you have to figure out how to work with these people. Yeah, and this person is probably never going to realize that they have that superiority complex or inferiority complex.
So, as we wind up, I have an interesting question. Is it possible now in a relationship setup? I am assuming if we have person A with inferiority complex, person B with superiority complex, is there a chance that they might spend all their lives together? Not because they are very good together, but because they are dependable on inferior, ako dependable na superiority ya huyu, na huyu ako dependable na inferiority ya huyu.
It is possible that they might live together, but they will take each other through a lot of trauma. That's what I think.
Yeah,
they'll take each other through a lot of trauma. That's what I think. Because even this, the person who's struggling with superiority complex, in as much as he's feeling high and mighty, there are things about himself that he does not like. That's why the achievements are up in their sleeves. That's why they think they're better than others.
Could it be maybe anakepuyu msi ana feel inferior around to continuously tell himself
to make himself better. Yeah. And Hey, you know the saddest part is sometimes you realize when you're already married to this guy that by the way this guy is like this. So what do you do?
Or even a lady.
Yeah, or even a lady.
What do you do?
Come on, Lucy Kibaki. What?
But me, I think Lucy Kibaki was just hurt. Was just a hurt person.
Lucy Kibaki alikuwa a very, very, what's the word? That woman was rough. That woman, if you step on her small toe, she will show you that she has a leg. God. But me, I think her husband used to handle her very well.
Yeah.
Because
that's why I think for her husband to even be able to accommodate her so well, like you've said, I don't think she was like that from the beginning. He probably was aware of what made her like that, or aware that my wife, this is not really her, it's because this and this is going on.
But
so
you see, also
fine.
not for Lucy Kibaki, we don't have also a lot of information
so
about
we can't
her. So we
really
would not
tell.
know.
Yeah, at is any assumptions.
We would not know.
Yeah.
What is in the assumptions? But where?
Yeah.
Mwanamke alikuwa pasi moto.
And in the relationship, what will the inferior person be feeding off from the superior person?
The fact that this person is actually better than them and they can do whatever it is.
They help them look better.
Yes, yes. It's just a self-image kind. Like all this thing, self-image is just lingering everywhere in this.
This even brings up the point of why you dating someone. Unajua kuna mtu ana date mtu juu ni brown skin.
Yeah.
Ama cause ana work in a certain place. So that also makes you feel
You've reminded
nice.
me, there's a time I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, he's a musician, and he was saying, and I want the gentleman in this room to confirm. This gentleman was saying that a guy will buy a car, will find a good job, will get all the businesses and deals that they want to get, just so that they can have a beautiful lady around them. Is that true?
So they feel like without these things, this beautiful lady won't come.
Yes.
Someone is nodding. That's a yes.
You guys have made it feel as if you need security, and that to you has formed the biggest foundation as part of insecurity.
Okay. All right. I understand what you mean, but this is not something that started in.
So in case
2000.
Audience our jump scare, he's saying we the ladies have made it look like we need that form of security. So they need to do that first so that they give us what we want. We want that first before we come in. Okay.
Okay. Well, you could be right, but also in the same that's also like saying, in that same breath, it's also saying that ladies have bleached. Like what you're saying is almost making it feel like what they're doing is right. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah.
But it's not.
It's not.
Yeah.
You understand? For example, in the inverse would be ladies who are dark end up bleaching because men prefer light skins.
But there are ladies already doing that, and that's a problem.
That's a problem in itself. You understand?
So I think I get what Spey is trying to say. Actually, to me, example, since I am bleaching, for example, me as a woman, me feel if for me to get so and so, I need to look lighter.
Yeah.
So
or
I
need to do a butt lift, or I need to do a
so I go do those things.
Yeah.
But now that speaks more about me than it speaks about the men. It shows I don't love myself.
Because if we can go to our parents, let me use how my parents told me they knew. I know my parents were hooked up. I know my parents were hooked up, but our parents didn't need to come up with a lot of money so that they can catch a girl.
Yeah.
You understand? So even right now, there are people who don't need to make a lot of money to catch a girl.
So Spencer is trying to say that in as much as there are women who have made that requirement, that you must have this before I look at you twice, it's not right.
Yes.
That shouldn't be the way. You be you.
And in the same, the ladies who are changing their body or making their body look a certain kind of way to keep a guy.
A wig every Sunday to Sunday, I two wig glue.
Yeah. Well, come on, like a wig glue because that's how kama unaweka wig ya glue juu una feel beautiful in it and you feel like wig
like if it is because of your colleague at work,
drop it, like rest.
Airline itaisha.
Rest. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Ultimately, remember that your self-image is what you think about yourself. Your ideal image is what you would like to be or who you would like to become. And then there's your true self. There's who you actually are.
Currently.
That is the person you should be in tune with every single day, because the person that you actually are will make you better or worse. Because now once you accept who you are, you will try to make adjustments for things that need to be adjusted. But if you don't accept the person that you are, you'll continue hurting yourself and the people around you, and you'll end up without community. And surprisingly, Maggie, we even forgot to say, even some of our leaders are struggling with superiority complex. Like these past 2 weeks, Gen Zs, we have been called all kinds of names. Now we are children. I don't even know jana kwa ex tulikuwa tunaitwa aje. But ultimately, the earlier you notice that this person has a deflection in their personality, either in terms of superiority or inferiority complex, it helps you. The earlier you know whatever complex you have, if you have any, they're better for you and everyone around you.
Yeah. And I don't think, now that we have told you this, it's not wise. For example, you notice your boss has superiority complex. It is not wise to go to your boss and be like, you have superiority complex. Stop speaking like that.
Yeah.
No. Just find a way of now that you know, find a way of how you can handle them. At least sasa akikuita names, akuiti names because you're really that cow.
Yes.
It's their problem.
It's their problem.
Utakuwa fired if you do that. And also if you notice someone has inferiority complex,
yes.
Don't go to them and be like, you inferiority complex.
And also, if you're in a relationship with such a person, whether it's work, and it is weighing down on your mental health, leave it. Keep a very, very big, hot distance.
Keep a distance. Keep a distance. Wow. Wow. Discussion motto. Fire.
Anyway, guys, we hope you enjoyed the session. We hope you learned.
Yes.
Remember to like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next week. Bye-bye.